Okay guys, welcome back to episode 3. I'm going to jump right ahead and look at the die. So this is the Apple iPhone 3G power management IC, and let's go ahead and walk around it. So here I am, I'm at 300x, and I'm just going to walk around, and then at the very end I'm going to take a picture of this die so you can see as a whole die when it's done. So starting with the top left corner, so these here are the little um, pads where the wire bond used to be. But during the decapsulation process, the wire bond broke off, and I like them to broke off anyway because it gives you a better image. So let me brighten up the image a little bit, and you can see. So when you look at die, they look like buildings and cities, right? And that's amazing. If you look at it carefully, it's actually multiple layers. So this is a very top layer, and it goes down into all the way to the very first layer, which are the gates. So enough of me talking here. I'm just going to fly around, and if I see anything interesting, I'm going to say something, but otherwise I'm just going to walk around and see the die. So these here are just did you see the black mark? Those are just the residue from the epoxy that used to cover up this IC, or sorry, this die. Very interesting layout, you see. So this is what fascinated me about the design of the die. Is so much goes into designing the die that people don't think about. And again, these are all for photolithography and doping concentration and masking the different layers. So at this high magnification, it looks like you're looking at a PWA, which is the printed wiring assembly, but they're not. These are actually the surface of the die. So let me go ahead and zoom in to 700x to see anything interesting here. So they look like pipeline at this magnification now. They look like little pipelines running water. I don't know what they are, right? I'm not the chip designer, but it's just mesmerizing to see all these tiny little connection on a piece of glass, right? This is a silicon glass. So I'm still walking around the die. So this is outside the perimeters, nothing interesting to see. So I've reached almost down the bottom. So you see the part number and the revision of this die happened to be revision 9 or 0.9. So moving right along here, I'm at the bottom center now. So let's go up and see interesting things rather than the bottom along the border. So moving on up. I think at this high mag you see very little. So let me go ahead and lower the magnification to 400. Okay, so what the scope did there was just automatically focus on the magnification that I'm at. So it does autofocus. Okay, so I'm back here at the very top left. So let me go ahead and stitch everything together at, let's see, this is a pretty small die. Let me go ahead and stitch it at 300 X. Okay, and the way it stitches is that you can see this is all the lens can see right now at 300x. So what it does is it tells me to pick a corner. So let me go ahead and do this. It's called serial recording, meaning it's going to stitch all the individual images until it's complete the die. So let me show you. First pick serial recording, and then I'm going to pick 3D image stitching. The reason why I'm picking 3D is because the die, it looks flat on the staging platform, but it may not be flat to the microscope at 300x. So let's first pick an endpoint. So I'm going to say this is the top left corner, and I'm going to move it to the bottom right corner, and that will complete the die. So let's go ahead and do that. So say set point again, so you can see here that it's going to be a complete rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and, so this is a rectangle die, so it's easy, right? So the computer automatically knows it's going to be rectangle by looking at the two corners. So let's go ahead, click next. So next it's going to ask me to set the upper focus. So I'll go ahead and I'll focus on upper range. Let me go and check the top left corner. It's blurry, that means also I'll focus as well. And that's where I want it to be. So it's going from the top down. And as it goes down, anything that's in focus is going to start capturing that as an image. So I'll go ahead and set that as an upper limit. And for the low limit, same thing, I'm just going to go past low limit to the blurry point. And I'm going to go ahead and check the other corner as well. And it's also blurry, so that's good. So I'm going to say set the low limit, and I'm going to say start stitching. So now what it does is it starts stitching all the images together. And it might take a minute or two, depending on the die size and also the file size. So it's going to take 4 minutes. So I'm just going to pause the video, and I'll be back after 4 minutes.